Beneath Egypt's sands lie secrets too strange for science.
Evidence of activity here in these flower of life symbols, which you can see on the inside of these uprights.
An underwater tomb, mysterious radiation, and water that refuses to stay buried. Built with impossible engineering and buried with intention. What were they hiding? And why does no one want to talk about it? The Osirion, a temple that shouldn't exist.
So this temple is literally sitting right on top of an isolated body of water.
Buried beneath layers of desert sand in Abydos, about 300 miles south of the Great Pyramid, sits this strange and ancient complex. Known as the Osirion, it stands apart from everything around it, not just in appearance, but in its very essence. Its origin story is hazy. Its purpose, still debated. Its construction, beyond anything the ancient Egyptians were supposed to be capable of. And that's exactly why some believe it didn't originate from the dynastic Egyptians at all, but from a civilization that came long before them. Could this be the remnant of a forgotten age, one that history has tried to erase? The Osirion stands out for its L-shaped layout, a dramatic break from the typical rectangular design of pharaonic temples. This sharp turn defies conventional theories. Was it meant for a different ritual? Or does it hint at a civilization we've yet to understand? What deepens the mystery even further is how the Osirion connects to the nearby temple of Seti III, built during Egypt's 19th dynasty. But here's the twist. Archaeological clues hint that the Osirion might be far older. Not by decades, but by centuries, possibly thousands of years. By the time Seti's temple was constructed, the Osirion was already ancient, standing silently in the sand. It's almost as if Seti chose to place his temple beside a monument from a lost time, as if paying tribute to something sacred that came before him. An engineering mystery that defies logic. So what made this place so revered that even pharaohs treated it with respect? Just take a look at its size. The main chamber of the Osirion is built from colossal rose granite blocks, some tipping the scales at an incredible 100 tons. These aren't stones you can just roll into place. The origin of the stones only deepens the mystery. They were quarried in Aswan, more than 200 miles from the site. Now think about that. We're told the ancient Egyptians used copper tools, wooden sledges, and manpower. But this? Transporting blocks of that size across the desert, then fitting them together with pinpoint precision in a dry basin far from the Nile, seems to stretch beyond what those tools could realistically achieve. And the big question still haunts us. How did they pull it off without machines, cranes, or modern engineering? The design of the Osirion is anything but primitive. Its complex double-layered ceiling and precisely interlocked stone wedges point to an advanced understanding of engineering, something that seems light years ahead of what mainstream history attributes to early Egypt. And then there's the material itself. Granite, one of the hardest stones on Earth. Shaping it, transporting it, placing it with such accuracy, all without the high-grade tools we associate with precision stonework? It doesn't add up. Rain in the desert, the erosion that shouldn't be there. But maybe the most jarring clue isn't in what's there, but what's missing. Step inside the Osirion, and you'll notice something bizarre. No hieroglyphs, no wall art, no colorful carvings of gods and pharaohs. Just bare, monolithic stone. It's a stark contrast to nearly every other temple across Egypt, where surfaces are covered in centuries of religious stories, political records, and celestial maps. Even temples that were reused or repurposed often show layered inscriptions from multiple dynasties. But here, nothing. silence, and then there's the depth. The entire Osirion sits about 15 feet below ground. That alone is strange because Egyptian temples were almost always built above ground, aligned with the sun or stars. This hidden subterranean placement has led some researchers to argue that the Osirion may be far older than it appears. Older than the sand that now buries it? Older than the Nile's current path? Even the rocks tell a different story. Weathered limestone around the structure bears signs of water erosion, not wind or sand, but rain, heavy rain. That would require a radically different climate, one not seen in Egypt for over 10,000 years. Some believe this erosion is evidence that the Osirion dates back to the end of the last ice age, long before the pyramids, the pharaohs, or even the desert as we know it. Westerman's revelation, water from nowhere. One of the Osirion's most baffling features isn't carved in stone, but the water that refuses to leave. Pooling at the base, this water isn't from rain or flooding. Seismic scans reveal the structure plunges at least 50 feet deeper, with unexplored chambers still submerged. Time and again attempts to drain it fail, the water surges back. Where does it come from? No one knows, but it behaves like an underground spring, refilling with relentless speed. Even more perplexing, the Osirion appears to have been designed with this water in mind. Channels, basins, and sluice gates suggest a sophisticated system, challenging everything we thought we knew about ancient hydraulics. Egyptians were no strangers to irrigation. Their canals kept entire civilizations alive. What we're looking at isn't ordinary engineering. It's something else entirely. The engineering on display here goes far beyond simple farming. It hints at a deeper, perhaps even sacred relationship with water. And the mystery keeps getting deeper, literally. James Westerman, a respected archaeologist and one of the leading experts on the Osirion, has spent years trying to uncover its secrets. Armed with industrial pumps capable of removing 500 gallons a minute, he thought draining it would be a matter of time. It wasn't. The water just kept coming, faster than the machines could push it out. The water's coming from within, Westerman noted, his voice carrying more confusion than certainty. In this place, even nature behaves strangely. In 2023, Westerman's team took their investigation to the next level. Using advanced instruments, they analyzed the water inside the Osirion, testing its temperature, pressure, conductivity, and chemical makeup. What they found defied expectation. The water wasn't just different, it was unlike anything else in the surrounding region. Its chemical signature didn't match any nearby aquifers, springs, or even the Nile. Even more bizarre, the data showed that the water was being pushed upward, almost like it was under pressure from a force deep below the earth. And according to its isotopic profile, this water wasn't traveling from any known source. It wasn't Nile water. It wasn't coming from local groundwater. So what is it? Instead of behaving like stagnant groundwater, this water acts more like something from a geyser system. Yet there are no signs of geothermal activity, no volcanic vents, no heat signatures typical of geyser fields. So the question remains, is there a hidden spring beneath the Osirion? Or is this water being fed from something far deeper, something yet to be discovered? But the weirdness doesn't stop there. Once he verified it was safe, Westerman did the unthinkable. He made the water part of his daily routine, hoping to understand its true potential. He ran his own hydrological tests, confirmed its potability, and began incorporating it into his daily routine. And what happened next was something he never expected. His eyesight began to improve. A man who had relied on prescription glasses for most of his life started to see clearly again. Within months, he no longer needed lenses, confirmed by an eye exam. Westerman now swears by the water's healing properties, believing that whatever force lies beneath the Osirion is more than just geological. It might be biological or even spiritual. And then there's the temperature. Outside the Osirion, surrounding groundwater consistently measures around 16.9 degrees Celsius. But inside the structure, the water clocks in at 23.8 degrees Celsius. That's a significant jump, and it makes no logical sense. According to the second law of thermodynamics, heat can't just move from a cooler body to a warmer one on its own. So what's warming the water inside? There's no visible heat source, no geothermal vents, no sun exposure underground. Something inside the Osirion is heating the water, but no one can explain how. The deeper scientists dig, literally and metaphorically, the more the structure resists understanding. What we see above ground may just be a fragment of something much larger. Beneath the visible floor lies an entire network of chambers that haven't been explored, still submerged and sealed off. What could be hidden in these unseen rooms? Could they contain inscriptions, artifacts, or even proof of who built the Osirion in the first place? Each discovery brings more questions than answers, and yet every unanswered question adds another layer of wonder. One thing is becoming clear: the Osirion isn't just old, it might be prehistoric. Its scale, its design, and its unexplained features suggest a level of complexity far beyond what ancient Egypt is credited with. Whatever this place was, it may hold the key to an entire chapter of human history that we've forgotten, or never even knew existed. The shaft that predates history itself. But Abydos isn't the only place where ancient builders left behind impossible mysteries. Beneath the sand-swept surface of Giza, tucked between the towering pyramids and the Great Sphinx, lies something far more baffling than the monuments above. A hidden shaft plunged deep into the earth, known as the Osiris Shaft, may hold secrets powerful enough to rewrite everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt. Could it be older than the pyramids themselves? And why does no one agree on what it was actually used for? A revolutionary discovery and the use of a rarely applied dating technique have forced even the most skeptical Egyptologists to reconsider the accepted timeline of history. Carved directly into the bedrock beneath the Sphinx Causeway, the shaft descends over 35 meters, stretching across 3 distinct levels. At its lowest point lies a mysterious granite sarcophagus, eerily submerged in water. A chamber some have boldly called the Tomb of Osiris. But its function? Still unknown. Every new investigation raises more questions than answers. What makes this structure even more bizarre is the material found in one of the sarcophagi, a type of stone not seen anywhere else in Egypt. It doesn't match the geology of the region. So how did it get here? Stranger still, the shaft wasn't built for easy access. There are no original stairs, no carved descent. The ladders and rails visible today were added by modern archaeologists. If the ancients didn't want to return, then who or what was this place really built for? The mystery only grows when you consider the impossible logistics behind it all. Some of these sarcophagi weigh up to 40 tons, roughly the weight of a fully loaded semi-truck. And yet they were somehow lowered with surgical precision into a vertical shaft that offers no natural path in or out. No ramps, no pulleys, nothing that explains how this feat was even possible. Whoever built this operated with a level of engineering that still leaves modern experts scratching their heads. Radiation in the tomb. Were the ancients hiding something dangerous? One particular sarcophagus discovered on the second level defies everything we thought we knew about ancient burial practices. Coated in a sticky layer of bitumen, it concealed something even more perplexing: a metallic layer underneath. Tests revealed traces of zinc and lead, elements not typically associated with Egyptian rituals. And here's the unsettling part: lead is commonly used today in radiation shielding. Why would the ancients use it in a tomb? What exactly were they trying to contain or protect? Things got stranger still. Gamma radiation readings inside the sarcophagus were alarmingly high, well beyond what you'd expect in an ancient tomb. And then came the dating test. Using a rare method called optical thermoluminescence, scientists measured the last time the stone had been exposed to sunlight. The result? Roughly 3,350 BCE, predating the pyramids by centuries. This discovery throws a wrench into everything we thought we knew about Egyptian chronology. If the test holds true, the Osiris Shaft may have been built before the very first pharaohs. The biggest shock? The sarcophagus itself. Carved from diorite, an incredibly hard volcanic stone, one that doesn't exist anywhere in Egypt. Geologists confirmed no known diorite deposits large enough for this size are found in Africa. It must have come from outside, possibly the Black Sea or Eastern Europe. It demands our attention once more. A 40-ton monolith, deliberately placed, impossibly transported. What purpose could it have served? Egypt had plenty of stones: granite, basalt, limestone. So why import a block of diorite from another continent? The decision defies logic and points to knowledge or ambition, beyond anything we can explain. This isn't just a stray anomaly. The dating results push the Osiris Shaft further back in time than anything else around it. If accurate, it doesn't just predate the pyramids, it predates the pharaohs themselves. Could we be looking at the handiwork of a civilization lost to history? One that left behind no name? Only impossibilities? And the more you explore, the more it feels intentional. The design of the shaft isn't haphazard, it's calculated. Every level, every material seems to serve a specific but cryptic purpose. Perhaps the radiation wasn't accidental. Could it have been part of an intentional process to preserve, not bury, whatever lay inside? At the very bottom of the shaft, archaeologists encountered yet another twist. A stone island sits submerged within a pool of still water. On it, a granite sarcophagus. Unlike the earlier chambers, this one uses locally available material. But its placement, hidden at the lowest and most inaccessible point, raises serious questions about its function. Why bury it in water? And why go to such extreme lengths to protect it? Carbon dating places this chamber around 2370 BCE, a time that falls within Egypt's Old or Middle Kingdom. But here's the thing. The third level's architecture looks and feels different, as if it was added much later. That would mean this shaft wasn't just built and forgotten. It was revisited, modified, and reused across generations, possibly for thousands of years. But what really stops researchers in their tracks is the water system itself. A perfectly carved trench encircles the chamber like a moat, and somehow the water level stays constant. No flooding, no drainage, just still water at the same depth every time. Experts say the bedrock should prevent natural seepage, which leaves one explanation: an engineered system, a hidden channel or spring precisely tapped into, 100 feet underground. This isn't the only place where water plays a central, unexplained role. Over at the Osirion, another cryptic site buried beneath the sands of Egypt, archaeologists found similar underground water channels. That's not a coincidence. These ancient builders clearly understood hydraulic systems with a sophistication far beyond what their era is credited for. In ancient Egyptian belief, water wasn't just practical, it was sacred. It symbolized life, rebirth, and transformation. So, what if the water within the Osiris Shaft wasn't just for engineering, but for ritual? Osiris reborn. Did they recreate God's resting place? That brings us to the figure this entire structure might be built around: Osiris. In mythology, Osiris, god of the underworld and resurrection, was laid in a sarcophagus on an island surrounded by water. Sound familiar? The third level of the Osiris Shaft is an eerie match. A stone island, still water, and a sealed sarcophagus. It's almost as if the builders were recreating the god's mythological resting place. Was this an attempt to channel divine power? Or part of a larger spiritual framework we've only begun to understand? But here's what really breaks tradition. The sarcophagi are blank. No names, no prayers, no markings of any kind. That's unheard of in ancient Egypt, where even minor officials had ornate inscriptions. This silence speaks volumes. It's led many researchers to believe that these weren't ordinary tombs. These weren't made for show. They served a different, possibly hidden purpose. And there's more. Radiation tests inside the sealed sarcophagi came back with unusual results, levels far beyond the norm. Combine that with the metallic lead-rich coating found on the second level, and a new theory starts to form. These chambers weren't just for burial. They may have been built to preserve something in a way we still don't understand. If the ancients had any idea how radiation could slow decay, that would represent a breakthrough thousands of years ahead of its time. But the biggest mystery of all might be the shaft's age. With optical thermoluminescence dating placing one of the sarcophagi as far back as 3,350 BC, it predates the rise of the pharaohs themselves. That moves the Osiris Shaft into the realm of pre-dynastic Egypt, before written records, before dynasties, before history as we know it began. And with new excavations underway, experts believe we're just scratching the surface. Hidden tunnels, sealed chambers, lost artifacts. The Osiris Shaft could very well be the missing link to an ancient chapter of humanity that we never knew existed. Two sites and endless questions. Water that won't drain. Stone that shouldn't exist. And technology far beyond its time. If these aren't dynastic Egyptian creations, is the past hiding something? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and join us as we go further into the unknown.